The Hollywood studios are bringing out the big guns. Lots of upcoming blockbusters were revealed at a mega convention in Las Vegas, including John Wick 5 with Keanu Reeves, the live-action Zelda film, and Avatar 3. But there were some announcements of some big hits outside of the event too. There are, for example, plans for a true Quentin Tarantino sequel. Welcome to the KinoCheck News. Here are the details. Keanu Reeves is returning as John Wick. Studio Lionsgate announced this big news at its panel at CinemaCon. There's been long speculation surrounding Keanu Reeves in John Wick 5. A while ago, Reeves said that no further John Wick film was planned. And another topic of discussion was that the physical strain involved in filming is increasing as the action star gets older. At the same time, those responsible at Lionsgate have recently expressed confidence about a fifth installment in the series with Keanu Reeves. And now there is official confirmation. Moreover, it's been announced that Chad Stahelski, the director of the first 4 movies, will direct the next installment as well. However, one big question remains. What will John Wick's return look like? After all, it was only recently that Reeves claimed that his iconic character had died in the 4th film of the action series. Lionsgate also spoke about the John Wick animated prequel. The movie will be set in the time period before the first part. In terms of story, it'll be about how the eponymous hero eliminates all his rivals in one night in order to be together with the love of his life, Helen. Keanu Reeves will return for this project as well in order to voice the protagonist. It's likewise been officially confirmed that Donnie Yen's character Kane will get a spin-off movie. However, the martial arts legend won't only be the lead actor, he'll also direct the film. There was also news about the upcoming film The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. The prequel is based on the recently published novel of the same name by Suzanne Collins. It centers around Hamish Abernathy, who was played by Woody Harrelson in the previous movies. The story focuses on the 50th Hunger Games, in which Katniss's future mentor has to take part. As series fans know from Catching Fire, special games take place every 25 years. This time, twice as many tributes have to compete against each other. Lionsgate has now announced that the screenplay for the adaptation will be provided by Billy Ray. The author also wrote the screenplay for the first part of the dystopian film series. Francis Lawrence is set to direct the movie. Lawrence has already directed all the Hunger Game movies since Catching Fire, and the theatrical release has been slated for November 20th, 2026. Lionsgate also has some updates to share regarding the Now You See Me film series. The title of the 3rd installment is Now You See Me, Now You Don't. A veritable star cast has been put together for the film, including Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Mark Ruffalo, Dave Franco, Isla Fisher, Morgan Freeman, and Rosamund Pike. The movie will be released in cinemas on November 14th, 2025. And on top of this, another sequel was announced as well. Now You See Me 4 is officially in development. Ruben Fleischer has been appointed as director for both upcoming films. Fleischer has already worked with Eisenberg and Harrelson on the Zombieland films. Film fans may also know him as the director of Venom and Uncharted. Trailers and new footage for several other films were also shown on site. These include the Stephen King adaptation The Long Walk and Good Fortune. Good Fortune will feature comedy star Seth Rogen and Keanu Reeves as the angel Gabriel. The movie will be released on October 17th, 2025. New footage was also revealed for The Housemaid. The leading roles in the thriller are played by Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried, and the movie will hit theaters on December 25th, 2025. One of the biggest film events of the year, CinemaCon 2025, took place in the first week of April. Hollywood's biggest studios came together in Las Vegas to present their upcoming highlights. Sony kicked things off and had some news to share. And the biggest announcement, Spider-Man 4 finally has an official title. Brand New Day suggests that a proper new start is being planned for the character. In addition, the new release date for the 3rd part of the Spider-Verse series has been revealed. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse will now be released on June 4th, 2027, more than 3 years after the originally scheduled theatrical release. New trailers were also shown at the event. One of them was for 28 Years Later, focusing on Aaron Taylor Johnson. The movie awaits us in cinemas on June 20th, 2025. And the sequel 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, has already been given a release date of January 16, 2026. Director Danny Boyle spoke about how he would like to see another movie in the series. he's planning a 28 years later trilogy, which will also be connected through the cast. However, the final part hasn't been approved by Sony yet and is dependent on how the other movies perform at the box office. Regarding Cillian Murphy, Danny Boyle advises fans to be patient. They need to wait a little for the Hollywood star's next appearance. Boyle thus confirms once again that although Murphy will not be in 28 years later, he'll probably feature in at least one of the other sequels. At the panel, Sony also announced that 4 movies about the Beatles are currently in development. The company is pursuing an unusual concept. Each of the 4 band members will have their own movie. All 4 are to be released in theaters in April 2028, named after the Beatles' first names. At the panel, the unique release strategy was described as the first bingeable theatrical experience. And the leading actors have also already been cast. Paul Mescal will be seen as Paul McCartney, Harris Dickinson as John Lennon, Stranger Things star Joseph Quinn as George Harrison, and Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr. All 4 films will be directed by James Bond director Sam Mendes. A trailer for the horror sequel I Know What You Did Last Summer was also screened at the event. It featured Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt, 2 actors from the original movies. The theatrical release is scheduled for July 18, 2025. New footage was shown for Karate Kid Legends. The Jackie Chan film will be released on May 30, 2025. Also shown was a trailer for Darren Aronofsky's new film Caught Stealing with Austin Butler. A first trailer was likewise presented for A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. The film starring Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie is already scheduled for release on September 19, 2025. By the way, Sony has another eagerly awaited project in the works, The Legend of Zelda. It has finally got a release date. The Zelda live-action film by director Wes Ball will hit movie theaters on March 26, 2027. Filming will start in New Zealand in November 2025, with the support of Zelda creator Shigeru Miyamoto. However, the cast is still unclear. Above all, the protagonists Zelda and Link. Nobody would have expected this. A sequel for Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The 2019 film is still hugely popular and won Brad Pitt the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Now, a sequel is to be made, and according to The Hollywood Reporter, it'll be directed by none other than David Fincher. According to initial insider information, the as-of-yet untitled sequel is to be released on Netflix and could go into production as early as late summer of this year. Brad Pitt will once again embody the role of Cliff Booth. Leonardo DiCaprio's involvement is still uncertain, however. After all, the actor is currently involved in several productions, such as Evel Knievel on Tour by Damien Chazelle. The movie already has one more highlight to look forward to, since Quentin Tarantino himself is writing the screenplay. Now, although Sony owns the rights to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tarantino has secured a unique deal by owning the characters from the film. Therefore, the new project can use Booth and possibly other characters without being deemed an official sequel. Pitt himself is said to have put forward the idea of getting David Fincher on board as director, which Tarantino agreed to after some hesitation. Now it remains to be seen what kind of approach Part 2 will take and what surprises it has in store. A release date for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 2 has yet to be set, though. One of the biggest announcements made by film studio Universal at CinemaCon was probably the sequel to the live-action film How to Train Your Dragon. And this is despite the fact that the first live-action film adaptation has not even been released in theaters yet. Universal therefore seems to have faith in the vision of director and screenwriter Dean DeBlois. The Canadian has already realized the 3 How to Train Your Dragon animated movies. You can see the beginnings of the story of Toothless, Hiccup and his friends in cinemas from June 13th, 2025. And Universal also announced a release date for How to Train Your Dragon 2, with the film set to open in theaters on June 11th, 2027. Probably the biggest Universal blockbuster of the year is, of course, Jurassic World Rebirth. Accordingly, the new installment of the dinosaur saga was also part of the film studio's panel. Lead actress Scarlett Johansson shared that she had long wanted to play in a movie from the popular franchise. This time, I went to Steven Spielberg directly and told him I'll play any role, even if I was eaten in the first 5 minutes. According to the statements made at the panel, Rebirth will focus a little more on horror elements. A new trailer for the movie was also shown at the event. According to reports, it includes a mutated T-Rex. We hope that the trailer will soon be available to the general public. The audience was also shown a first trailer for the sequel Wicked for Good as well. Here too, we are of course hoping for a public release soon. There were also first teasers for several horror movies, including Megan 2 and its spin-off Soulmate. And finally, a first trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has been released. The Universal panel also presented a number of prestige productions. There was first footage of Wes Anderson's The Phoenician Scheme and the new film by Poor Things director Yorgos Lanthimos called Begonia, once again starring Hollywood star Emma Stone, of course. Visitors to the panel also got to see a first trailer for the action sequel Nobody 2. Amazon MGM had a lot to offer at this year's CinemaCon, even if fans would certainly have liked to get some information about James Bond. But to make up for it, there was some new content on the fantasy film Masters of the Universe and the science fiction movie Project Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling. Director Travis Knight presented the first promotional video for Masters of the Universe to the audience on site. Nicholas Galitzine as He-Man was shown reaching for his legendary sword. A series of concept drawings and set photos also conveyed the impression that the film adaptation will remain true to the iconic designs of the 80s. With Deadpool actress Morena Baccarin as the Sorceress, Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms, Jared Leto as Skeletor, and Alison Brie as Evil Lyn, Amazon MGM is counting on a top-class cast to breathe new life into the legendary series. A first trailer for the film adaptation of Andy Weir's novel Project Hail Mary was also met with excitement. Ryan Gosling plays a quirky teacher who is recruited by a scientist, played by Sandra Huller, for a mission to save the dying sun. The humorous nature for the movie, for which the two directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller are known for anyway, is particularly evident in the scenes with Gosling's character. During his journey, he encounters a mysterious creation of light and a small, gross alien named Rocky. Impressive space shots by cinematographer Greg Fraser, known for Dune and The Batman, add the finishing touch to the visual experience. Smaller movie trailers were also shown. For example, Luca Guadagnino's psychological drama After the Hunt with Andrew Garfield, Ayo Edebiri, and Julia Roberts. Fans of heist thrillers can look forward to Crime 101 with Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Halle Berry, and Barry Keoghan. And those who enjoy Colleen Hoover's books, Verity is the author's next film adaptation, this time with Josh Hartnett, Anne Hathaway, and Dakota Johnson. Now, although Amazon MGM panel had some highlights this year, there were no big announcements, especially with regard to the casting of James Bond. Amazon stayed tight-lipped about it. So we can only hope for more news in the coming months. At CinemaCon, Warner Bros. Focused primarily on its prestigious projects Superman and the Formula One film F1 with Brad Pitt. New scenes were shown for both, and you can also find the Superman clip on our channel. The event crowd also got to see more footage from Final Destination Bloodlines. According to the audience, the movie doesn't cut back on painful details such as ripped-out piercings or impaled skulls. The presentation of Maggie Gyllenhaal's Frankenstein version, The Bride, was particularly interesting. The scenes shown were compared to the cult hit Natural Born Killers. All sorts of graphic effects, lots of black humor, and Frankenstein's monster and his bride on a crime spree. The leading roles? Christian Bale and Jessie Buckley. A somewhat different Frankenstein movie is likely awaiting us here. The last day of CinemaCon, Paramount presents its upcoming highlights such as Mission Impossible 8, The Running Man, and The Naked Gun. Being the next big Paramount blockbuster, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning obviously played an important part. Both lead actor Tom Cruise and director Christopher McQuarrie paid a visit to CinemaCon to talk about their latest project. But first, Cruise and everyone else on the panel paid their respects with a minute's silence for the actor Val Kilmer, who recently passed away. Cruise and Kilmer were in front of the camera together for both Top Gun films. A new trailer was then shown on site. The Final Reckoning won't be long in coming. From May 23, 2025, action fans will be able to enjoy the 8th part of the Spy series in cinemas. Also this summer, we can look forward to the reboot of The Naked Gun. Action star Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson are part of the cast. The trailer presented at CinemaCon can already be found on our channel. This year will also be marked by a remake of a Stephen King novel. The Running Man is set in a dystopia in which a deadly reality show takes place. The protagonist, played by Glenn Powell, takes part in the games in order to use the prize money to save his seriously ill daughter. Powell and fellow actor Josh Brolin presented a first teaser on site together with director Edgar Wright. There was also additional footage of the new Smurfs, as well as the new SpongeBob movie. Paramount has, by the way, another big animation hit in the pipeline. The next Paw Patrol film will be released in cinemas on July 31st, 2026. Its title, Paw Patrol: The Dino Movie. To close this year's CinemaCon 2025, Disney has put together yet another action-packed program, with lots of footage and updates on upcoming blockbusters from the company. Marvel Studios put the spotlight on the upcoming film Thunderbolts. Alongside the familiar cast of Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, and David Harbour, the exclusive footage showed newcomer Sentry in action. Moreover, they showed scenes from Fantastic Four: First Steps. In it, the four heroes can be seen on a talk show. They've obviously already been on the move as heroes for a while at this point in the film, and are very popular with the population. Julia Garner as the new Silver Surfer was also introduced for the first time. The movie is due to be released in July and is set in an alternate universe of the MCU. The audience was also shown some first scenes from Predator: Badlands. The Hunter spaceship crashes on an alien planet. Or is it perhaps a post-apocalyptic Earth? Surprisingly, this time human gangs are chasing the aliens, with laser guns. There's also a giant monster, presumably the Hunter's actual prey. In initial scenes of the sci-fi film Tron Ares, one major plot element in particular is presented for the first time: the large-scale clash between the digital and analog worlds. The portal is opened and the legendary vehicles of the grid enter New York City. The movie will be released on October 10th. The sequel Zootopia 2 has also made its mark with some new images. It'll be released in theaters on November 26, 2025. And for the grand finale of the panel, the audience saw the first official footage from Avatar: Fire and Ash, including the Water Clan on a jellyfish-like ship and an airstrike by the Ash people. Apparently, the new clan wants to oust the Water Na'vi from their homeland. According to viewers, the effects are once again breathtaking, and the images are almost impossible to describe. We can hardly wait to show you the first Avatar 3 trailer. What are your thoughts regarding the news from CinemaCon? Do the studios have any major highlights planned for you? Or did the lineup disappoint you? Let us know your opinion in the comments. We're excited to read them all. If you want to delve even deeper into the event, get the KinoCheck app. There you'll find exciting articles and of course many of the brand new trailers.